In this video, I'll be discussing 8 different alternatives to the H1B visa. Welcome back. My name is Jeremy Richards. I'm a U.S. immigration lawyer with the law offices of Richards and Jurusik, with offices in both Buffalo, New York, and Toronto, Canada. We dedicate our practice solely to U.S. immigration law. In this video today, I'm going to be discussing the alternatives to the H1B visa if you weren't lucky enough to get into the H1B visa lottery. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel, click the reminder button so that you know when new videos come out. Also, hit the thumbs up and share these videos with others out there that you think might find them helpful as well. Also, down below in the comments, we have helpful information about the visa categories that I'm going to discuss with you today, as well as other helpful information on U.S. immigration. If you weren't lucky enough to be selected in the H1B visa lottery, that might leave you scrambling for options to stay here in the United States. In this video, I'm going to cover 8 of the options that we often look into or recommend to those that weren't selected in the H1B visa lottery. The first option might be optional or curricular practical training for those here in the United States under a study program or attached to their education in the United States. There could be attached to your status and your stay a 12 or 24 month ability to stay in the United States and obtain employment authorization to work in your field of study in the United States. If you haven't already taken advantage of that, then that's something you could look into. Or if you have that, then seeking an extension, maybe you qualify for a STEM extension. But that is something that some people often overlook or think that they have to get an H1B right away. Well, exhaust that first. If you have an option to work here under OPT or CPT, make sure you exhaust your entire authorization period for CPT or OPT. The second, work visas based on your nationality. If you are a Canadian national or a Mexican national, TN visa status is available. In my opinion, TN visa status is superior to H1B visa status because it is renewable indefinitely, and it also carries the same ability to transition to a green card as an H1B visa does. So if you are a Canadian or a Mexican national, look into your options under the TN visa. If you are Chilean or Singaporean, then you might qualify for an H1B1. That has an allocation just like the H1B, but year after year, they fail to meet the quota for nationals of Chile or Singapore. So if you are a Chilean or Singaporean nationality, then look into the H1B1 program because there are often numbers available that you can easily take advantage of. And then lastly, the E3 visa for Australians, which is the H1B equivalent for Australians. If you are working in a specialty occupation in the United States and you're an Australian citizen, then the E3 visa is available for you and you don't need to rely on the H1B visa. Third, the E1 and the E2 visas. The E1 is for a treaty trader and the E2 is for a treaty investor. So if you are fortunate enough to be in a situation where maybe you want to start your own business in the United States or purchase an existing business in the United States, then the E2 visa as an investor might be an option for you. If you're already conducting business in the United States and you are doing so through providing goods or services to the United States, then in the country that you are a national of fits in the treaties for either E1 or E2, then you might qualify as a treaty trader. So E1s for treaty traders and E2s for treaty investors might be an option as well. The fourth option we often look at is the L1 visa. Does your company have offices in the United States and another country? And are you in a position that qualifies as either executive or managerial or specialized knowledge? And could they transfer you from that foreign office to the United States? Or does your company have a foreign office and not yet have a U.S. office, but they want to start operations in the U.S. and they're willing to transfer you to the United States to start those operations? The L1 visa would work in those situations where your employer can simply transfer you to the United States, or if you are the business owner, maybe you want to start your operations in the United States and you could use the L1 visa as a mechanism to do that. Fifth, the O1 visa for those of extraordinary ability is what they call it. The O1 visa is reserved for those that can show that they're in the top 10% of their profession or in their field. If you can demonstrate that through receiving awards, through recognition, and other means, then potentially you could show your merit to obtain an O1 visa to work in the United States. Number 6, and this is a relatively new option, but it's parole for international entrepreneurs. And if you qualify if you meet the criteria for parole for an international entrepreneur, then possibly you are able to obtain that parole to come into the United States to perform work as an entrepreneur in the United States. The 7th would be an employment-based green card. Maybe your employer has already determined that you're a perfect fit for the company and they want to keep you on a permanent basis. Then they could sponsor you through the PERM process, through an EB2 or an EB3 to come into the United States to receive an immigrant visa and to work permanently for them in the United States. The process is a little bit longer of a process, but it's a permanent option, and the end result is a green card. In some situations, employers find it difficult to find employees to fit that role, and they're willing just to jump to the green card process because the H1B Visa lottery is so difficult to get and they don't want to keep waiting. Well, start the green card process now, and the process will be over sooner rather than later, and then you'd be able to come into the United States permanently under a green card or U.S. permanent residence. And finally, the 8th option, family sponsorship. If you have the correct relation to a U.S. citizen or a U.S. permanent resident, then you might be able to be sponsored by them for permanent resident status in the United States through relation to a U.S. citizen or a U.S. permanent resident. This is a brief overview of those 8 options that we often look at when people call in and ask us what their alternatives are to the H1B visa when they don't make it into the lottery. There's more detailed explanation of these visa categories and these options on our website and in the links below in the comments. If you have any other questions about U.S. immigration or what to do because you didn't make it into the H1B visa lottery, reach out to us. You can give us a call, send us an email, or visit our website for more information. Thank you for watching and have a great day.